Xie Zhiheng kept a lover hidden from me. He hid her for half a year, and I never found out. Not until a week ago, when I was on my period, he abruptly said, "You never seem to be in much pain." I was stunned for a moment, and instantly understood, he must have someone he cares about who experiences severe period pain. So I pretended to be casual and said, "I've always been treated by Oldley. A few doses of medicine and it's fine." Xie Zhiheng's face didn't change, his heart didn't race. He gave a very indifferent 3 days later, I went abroad. He took a girl there and protected her. When the photos reached me, they were so blurry you couldn't even make out the faces. But Xie Zhiheng's exceptionally precious, protective attitude was clearly visible. I wasn't surprised that Xie Zhiheng would cheat. I was surprised that he cared this much. What kind of girl was she? Driven by this curiosity, I kept it from Xie Zhiheng and returned to China. I had Lao Su drive me directly to the place where Xie Zhiheng was hiding her. It was perfect timing. Xie Zhiheng was just getting out of his Rolls-Royce, casually tossing his tailored suit into the car, and putting on a cheap jacket. Then he put on a pair of glasses, messed up his hair a bit, and picked up his laptop bag. I couldn't help but laugh. Was he dressing up as a young programmer? A programmer? Lao Su kept his head down, quiet as a mouse. When Xie Zhiheng went upstairs, I pushed open the car door. "Wait here. I'm going up to have a look." Anyone would know that once I went up and exposed things, there would be no easy resolution between Xie Zhiheng and me. Especially in the past 2 years, the conflicts between us had been growing. Cold wars, arguments, throwing things, they were all commonplace. The most recent was half a month ago. I forget what started it. But at the end of the argument, I just grabbed a water glass and threw it at him. He could have dodged, but he didn't. He let the bright red blood flow down his forehead. His gaze was extremely cold. "Do you still have any trace of your former self?" How ridiculous. If I wasn't like my former self, was he like his former self? When he changed, it was. When I changed, it was unforgivable. Dong dong dong, I knocked on the door. Xie Zhiheng opened it. His face still held a gentle smile, looking back inside. "Leave it, I'll get it." When he turned back and met my eyes, the smile shattered piece by piece, his softened gaze. The smoothness of his expression change was worthy of being included in the Beijing Film Academy's teaching materials. "Who is it?" A pretty, charming girl poked her head out from behind Xie Zhiheng. Meeting her eyes, I was momentarily stunned. Xie Zhiheng shifted his body slightly. "You go inside first." His deep, serious voice caught the girl off guard. A smile involuntarily curled onto my lips. I reached out my hand first. "Hello, I'm Xie Zhiheng's colleague. There's some work I need to discuss with him." Xie Zhiheng glanced at me blandly, tacitly accepting my explanation. "You stay home, we'll talk outside." Is that inconvenient? Am I disturbing Mrs. Xia? The girl's face flushed bright red, waving her hands repeatedly. No, I'm not Mrs. Xia. We aren't married yet." "Must be soon then." "I'll have to beg for a cup of wedding wine when the time comes." The girl's face grew even redder, stealing embarrassed glances at Xie Zhiheng. The smile on my face widened. "Oh, by the way, I'm Xin Yu." "What's your name?" "Lin Yu." "Hello!" Lin Yu, 19 years old, current university student at H University, excellent in character and learning, possessing both virtue and talent. That was all the information I could find. The rest was hidden by Xie Zhiheng. In the end, I still couldn't enter their home. Under the pressure of Xie Shiheng's extremely cold gaze, I readily followed him downstairs. How did you get here? You came back to the country and didn't tell me? How long have you known? Xie Shiheng took a fierce drag on his cigarette. What do you want? I let out a scornful laugh. Finally, the point. What do you think I should do? Xie Shiheng tilted his head, looking at me. What's between her and me isn't as sordid as you think. She's not in good health, I take care of her. That's all. I said, oh. What if I don't believe it? Xie Shiheng's face immediately darkened. All trace of warmth and gentleness left me. I got out of the car and slammed the door shut. I turned around. The next second, the roar of the accelerator sounded. Xie Shiheng gripped the steering wheel with one hand. As the car sped towards me, his gaze was fixed on me. Watching my pupils dilate, my body stiffen. Screech, the sound of brakes. The front of the car stopped against my knees. Braking. My mind went blank. For an instant, it was as if a thunderclap exploded in my ears. The car reversed, turned, and pulled up beside me. Xie Shiheng looked up at me. Don't touch her. This wasn't a plea. This was a warning. Fishjia, are you okay? Lao Su stumbled over, ashen-faced, his eyes full of terror. In that moment of collapse, I suddenly understood it wasn't my imagination. He really had wanted to run me over. Xie Shiheng had never been a devout believer or a kind man. He was an illiterate man who hadn't even graduated from middle school. To get where he is today, he's ruthless to others, and even more ruthless to himself. When I was 6, my scumbag father took me out to play as an excuse to secretly meet his first love. They were going at it in the other room, while Xie Shiheng watched Tom and Jerry with me in the living room. I didn't understand why those moaning sounds were coming out. Curious, I asked, Gidge, what are Dad and Auntie doing? He turned up the volume and covered my ears. Dirty. Don't listen. He was only 1 year older than me, but he took care of me meticulously. Not because he liked me that much. It was because his mother told him that if he managed to keep me happy, she'd give him 100 yuan. That was his living expenses for a week. When I was 14, my father ran off with his mother. My mother set a fire and burned down the house. Xie Shiheng carried me out of the fire on his back. Half his arm still bears the scars from that burn. He had no money for school, so he dropped out and worked odd jobs. I took a baseball bat, smashed up his place, and compensated him 20,000. He still wouldn't go to school. He went to Yunnan to buy medicinal herbs and mountain products. With the first money he earned, he bought me a princess dress. That year, I was 15, he was 16. My mother was hysterical. Your father ran off with that, and now you want to be with the she gave birth to? You're truly your father's daughter. I should have strangled you when you were born. I probably should have taken my mother's side. But unfortunately, I was raised by Xie Shiheng. In those years when my father was busy cheating and my mother was busy catching him, I lived like an outcast. Xie Shiheng was the one who accompanied me, asking for nothing in return. He could be dirty and messy, but I had to be clean and tidy. He could end up bruised and swollen, but no one could lay a finger on me. He wouldn't let me tell anyone we had a relationship. He was afraid he couldn't protect me. What he feared most was me crying. He always clumsily wiped my tears away. He'd glare at me fiercely and tell me to hold my tears back. But later, when I really did stop crying, he didn't seem all that happy about it either. Actually, if you cried and made a fuss, I'd give in to you. Why do you always have to be so stubborn with me? I lay in the hospital for a day and a half. Joe, he told me to keep playing dead. Fine, okay. Get me a pack of cigarettes. No smoking in the hospital. Then I want to be discharged. Can't you just use this opportunity to quit? Quit just like that? Might as well just die then. Joe, he rolled his eyes, not wanting to deal with me. What's really going on between you and Xia Zhiheng? Normally, if you so much as scraped yourself, he'd make a huge fuss. Why hasn't he shown his face this time? I let out a cold laugh. Finally asked. You must have been dying too. Kuang Yi burst into the hospital just as I was about to leave, nearly colliding with me. His eyes were full of anxiety, his face a little pale. Jia, are you okay? How did you get here? Are you injured anywhere? Who told you to come back? Where's Xia Zhiheng? Are your tasks done? I'm going to kill him. Not a single thing I wanted to hear. I kicked him in the leg. He didn't dodge, just took it obediently, even bending over and putting his head near me. Jia, I was wrong. I lightly slapped him. Did Lao Su tell you? No, I found out myself. This kid was getting sharper, and as he got older, his abilities grew stronger too. He even dared to investigate me. How did things go in the south? They can handle it. He added, a bit defiantly, I had to come back. I let out an exasperated laugh. Fine, you're capable. Kuang Yi followed behind me, whining and trying to act cute for forgiveness. We ran right into Xia Zhiheng. His expression was bland, holding Lin Yuyu's hand. Now that it was out in the open, he wasn't hiding it anymore. Kuang Yi was stunned for a few seconds, then his face darkened and he started to rush forward. I kicked him back. Zhou, he stood off to the side, his face cycling through shades of pale and red. Talk about an awkward showdown. Xinyu Jia, are you not feeling well either? Lin Yuyu's innocent voice broke the. I smiled at her. Just a small problem. What about you? She looked a little embarrassed. There's a scar on my body. I wanted to see if it could be removed. I nodded in understanding. With modern medicine, definitely no problem. A pretty girl like you really shouldn't have any blemishes. Lin Yuyu blushed. Xinyu Jia, you're very pretty too. Xia Zhiheng tightened his grip on her hand. We need to go. The specialist is waiting. Goodbye, Xinyu Jia. As they passed me, Xia Zhiheng nodded politely in my direction. Fine. A perfect nodding acquaintance. On the way back, Kuang Yi's face was as black as a pot lid. I couldn't resist teasing him. What, if I hadn't stopped you, you'd really have fought Xia Zhiheng? Shouldn't I? Not afraid of him anymore? He pursed his lips. Jia, just break it off with him. Kuang Yi was someone I found in a stairwell when I was 20. He was 11 then, locked out of his home by his biological father and stepmother. Wearing spring clothes in the dead of winter, shivering with cold, his body covered in bruises. He grabbed my pant leg and mumbled that he was hungry. So I took him home, made him a bowl of instant noodles, and added a ham sausage. At that time, things were very strained between Xia Zhiheng and me. He didn't want me involved in his affairs, told me to be good and focus on my studies. But he always got hurt. I couldn't stand it. Money, those few pieces of silver, they really could drive people to desperate measures. I compromised with my mother. I told her Xia Zhiheng and I were through, and I wanted to come home and inherit the family business. She mocked me. But she also understood that only I could control the shares grandfather and grandmother had left. She hated me. But she also needed me. She couldn't do anything to me, so she recorded my words and played them for Xie Shiheng. Xie Shiheng didn't believe it. He trusted me. So he blamed himself endlessly. Blaming himself for not protecting me well. The more he blamed himself, the more we started to argue. From arguing about things to arguing about emotions. Then making up again. Cycle, repeat. Kwang Yi was an accident. I fed him intermittently for about half a year. Xie Shiheng didn't interfere, didn't care. But because Xie Shiheng always had a cold face and bland expression, Kwang Yi was always scared of him. Later, Kwang Ye's relationship with me was discovered by his father. Those murky eyes, looking me up and down lightly, the desire in them clear to see. Kwang Yi must have overheard something. He used his remaining pocket money to buy a knife. Scared and desperate. I cooked him a bowl of noodles, took the knife away, and told him not to worry about anything. I let the man into my apartment. He ripped my clothes, pinned me to the bed. I watched as that woman followed him in. They fought, and the man stabbed the woman in the stomach. He fled, taking all the cash from my safe. The newly installed security camera recorded everything. He was caught, sentenced, severely punished. It was, for me at that time, a perfectly calculated setup. Xie Shiheng didn't say a word. He silently applied medicine to my wounds. After a long time, he spoke. You shouldn't have used yourself as bait. If something happened to you, what would I do? Those were the words that stayed with me then. But there was another sentence, one I only understood years later. He said, "You're dirty. Go take a shower." When Xie Shiheng came back, I was reading in the living room. Why aren't you asleep yet? Waiting for you. A pretty obvious question. He knew I was waiting for him. Just like I was sure he would come back. No other reason, I had just looked up Lin Yu's medical records. Xie Shiheng's hand, placing his keys, paused. He loosened his tie and sat down across from me. What do you want to talk about? Such composure was suffocating. I looked at him calmly. What if I told Lin Yu everything? Xie Shiheng looked up, his eyes full of cold light. I told you, don't touch her. What if I insist on touching her? What will you do? Run me over without breaking? Xin Yu, I won't touch you. But I can touch a lot of other people. His words chilled me. As I stood up, my book hit the floor with a dull thud. I picked up the baseball bat. I won't touch her. An arm or a leg, you choose. Xie Shiheng stood up. After a long stare down, he extended his left hand. Without any hesitation, the baseball bat came down hard. I heard the sound of bone breaking. Xie Shiheng's face went pale, and he grunted in pain. He clenched his jaw, looking at me. Word by word. Satisfied? Get lost. He walked away, cradling his arm. I couldn't help but ask, you like her that much? Xie Shiheng stopped, the words tumbling out. She could take a knife for me. Can you? For an instant, the whole room fell silent. I looked at Xie Shiheng's back, held taut. He turned around hastily. His face was paler than before. His lips moved. There was a scar on Lin Yu's back, a knife wound from her shoulder to her lower back. She took it for Xie Shiheng. It happened early last year. Xie Shiheng suddenly went crazy, competing with me for business. Willing to lose 1,000 to hurt me by 800. He wouldn't see me, wouldn't answer my calls, wouldn't give me any explanation or reason. Until 3 months later, someone tipped me off. He had been attacked, and he thought I was behind it. The sheer absurdity of it made me laugh with anger. I spent a week investigating the truth and handed the culprits over to Xie Zhiheng. He was silent for a long time, then wiped his face. My fault. I was blinded. So you think the trust started crumbling back then? I didn't answer the man's question. Looking straight ahead, I said blandly, was it your arrangement for Xie Zhiheng to transfer to the same elementary school as me? Yes. Why? To fool you, of course. His mother wanted to marry into the family, so she had to win you over one by one. She said that kid was a sly one from childhood, saying what people wanted to hear. As long as he was willing, he could charm anyone. Like me. He would tie my shoelaces, chase away the fat kid who bullied me, carry me home on his back through the snow, pick up food from the ground for himself but save the only piece of chocolate for me. The man, cigarette dangling, squinted in the sun. I remember you used to stuff your school bag full of snacks and fruit every day to take out. All for him, right? See, once he latched onto you, he didn't even need to bother charming the old ladies upstairs and downstairs anymore. Having heard what I wanted, I stood up, ready to leave. Hey! The man called out to me. I'm out of money. Transfer me some more. Wait until next month. The man's face darkened. I'm your father. And I pay you alimony every month. That little bit of money isn't even enough for food. What your grandparents left is mine by right. What right do you have to inherit it while I'm still alive? If you don't give me money, I'll come back to China. I curled my lip. No problem. The moment your plane lands, I'll have you sent straight to prison. The man clenched his jaw, glaring at me. Suddenly, a malicious smile flickered across his face. Do you know why his mother didn't leave him a single cent when she ran off with me? Because he said he liked you, and wouldn't scheme against you anymore. If he got together with you, his mother would really have no chance of marrying into money. Of course she'd make his life hell. TCH, what did his mother say? Oh, right, aren't you so capable? $10 should be enough for you to live on, right? That kid was tough, never gave in. My face instantly hardened. Congratulations. You just lost half of next month's allowance. On the flight back, I didn't say a word. Kuang Yi watched me worriedly. Jia, you're always in a bad mood after seeing him. Why do you still come? Why? Kuang Yi didn't understand. Truth be told, at first, I didn't understand either. Until that man spelled it out later. What do you want to hear? That all his past kindness to you was fake? You want to prove that the reason he doesn't like you now is because he never really liked you then? Xinyu, you're such a hopeless romantic. Because his swearing was too foul, I also halved his allowance that month. This man was my father, the one who ran off with Xie Zhiheng's mother. My mother was a purebred hopeless romantic. Even after my father ran off with someone else, she still transferred a huge sum of money into his account every month. Then she tirelessly ran the company, guarding the Shen family business. And finally, she pulled a big one. She got cancer, refused treatment, let herself waste away, leaving only one last message: let you go, and let myself go too. My father's comment on this: she's crazy, right? What feelings did they have? An arranged marriage for family benefit. If he didn't marry, his financial support would be cut off. Even the child was conceived through artificial insemination. In my father's eyes, my mother was just a passerby. The money she gave him, he felt he deserved. I couldn't stand seeing him so comfortable. The month my mother died, I cut off his allowance. He ranted and raved, cursing me, saying I'd die a bad death, saying I'd make the ancestors restless in their graves. I just laughed. If they're restless, they deserve it. The second month I cut his allowance, Xia Shiheng's mother abandoned my father for someone else. Back then, cut off from family funds, my father abandoned his first love, Xia Shiheng's mother, and married my mother. Now, again for those few pieces of silver, Xia Shiheng's mother abandoned my father. Watching these dramas unfold, I clapped in delight. Let them do what they want. Just one thing, don't come back to China. The call I made to Xia Shiheng was only answered after a long time. His voice was a little hoarse, full of weariness. Speak. I've cleared out all your things from the villa. They're in the yard. Send someone to pick them up. Got it. For the companies we jointly own, the shared investments, I've drafted a plan. I'll email it to you soon. Get back to me as soon as possible. This time, Xia Shiheng's silence lasted longer than before. Is this necessary? I rubbed my temples. Might as well make a clean break. When I saw Xia Shiheng again, his arm was in a cast, the sling around his neck, with Lin Yuyu by his side. Joe, he said I hit hard, but it was clean and shouldn't affect his future life. I expressed my regret at that. Joe, he glared. The female heart is the most venomous. But he deserved it. We calmly handled the asset division. To get through it all, I signed one document after another, stamped one seal after another, until I was numb. Kuang Yi took a coat and draped it over me. I took the water glass and drank. Looking up, I saw Lin Yu standing timidly not far away. I nodded at her and was about to leave. Miss Shin. I responded with a mem. Xia Shiheng is behind, he should be out soon. No, it's not that. I have a few things I want to say to you. Kuang Ye's face darkened as he blocked her. Lin Yu stumbled back in fright, nearly falling, but stubbornly held her ground. I sighed and patted Kuang Yi. Go ahead. She bit her lip. I didn't know you two were in that kind of relationship. I'm sorry. But no one has ever been this good to me before. Only him. I don't want to give up. Miss Shin, I'm sorry. She bowed to me at a 90-degree angle. I sidestepped. You don't need to do that. What you two do has nothing to do with me. Just like what he and I do has nothing to do with you. Xia Shiheng had been standing behind me, listening to the whole thing. He leaned against the wall, smoking, his expression blank. The problems between Xia Shiheng and me weren't because Lin Yu appeared. We just had differing opinions, grew apart, developed rifts. Some people didn't believe it. Come on, back in the day, you were willing to risk your life for Xinyu. Xia Shiheng smoked, his expression bland. Was I? I forgot. Xia Shiheng and I broke up cleanly and quietly. It shocked everyone. Because in the past, my possessiveness was extreme. Anyone who dared get close to Xia Shiheng was unceremoniously shown the door by me. Now, with my hands spread wide, I became a bystander, and people started testing the waters again. Seeing that I really didn't care, they grew bolder. How could Lin Yu handle such things? When Xia Shiheng was approached by someone inside, she'd hide outside and cry. Seeing me come out, she'd quickly wipe away her tears. I pretended not to see and kept walking. But she trotted after me. I originally wasn't going to acknowledge her, but then I saw her suddenly collapse, clutching her chest, her expression pained, as if she couldn't breathe. What's wrong with you? I called for help while dialing Xia Shiheng. Xia Shiheng rushed out, fed her a pill, and Lin Yu finally fell into a deep sleep. She has a heart condition, congenital. Her health has always been poor. I wasn't interested in any of this. But I couldn't resist taking a jab at Xie Zhiheng. You want others to remain innocent forever, yet you can't protect anyone. You're really something. In the darkness, I couldn't make out Xie Zhiheng's expression clearly. I didn't want to see it anyway. I turned and left. In the car, Kuang Yi kept looking at me in the rearview mirror. Ask whatever you want to ask. Jia, you don't seem to hate Lin Yu. Is that my imagination? I looked out the window, letting out a breath of stale air. She's a bit like the person I used to be. No, she's not. Kuang Yi said childishly, his face wooden. I couldn't help but laugh. What do you know? She's like me before I met you. Back then, I was innocent to the point of being naive, ignorant of the world. Eating plain steamed buns with Xie Zhiheng made me happy. Living in a cramped, single-story house. The socket by the head of the bed was broken, and rats would always crawl out of it, dancing on your quilt. I'd cry from fear. So Xie Zhiheng bought cement and sealed the hole. With the leftover, he made me a flower pot. I planted strawberries in it and tended them carefully every day. But before the strawberries could bear fruit, he was surrounded by a gang of thugs. Xie Zhiheng told me to run, not to look back. But I stood in front of him and took a beating for him. He said Xie Zhiheng almost killed someone. If he had, he would have been finished. His whole life would have been over. For the first time, I felt a deep, lingering fear. I started thinking about what I could do for Xie Zhiheng. I didn't want to obediently listen to him and hide behind him anymore. I wanted to protect him, just like he protected me. That seemed like the start of everything, yet also the end of something. On the anniversary of my mother's death, I put aside all work, bought flowers early, and went to the cemetery. My feelings for this mother were quite complicated. Since childhood, she spent very little time with me. And in that limited time, she never got close to me. The family Ai said that looking at me reminded her of my father, and she could only numb herself through work. She lived unhappily, I never saw her smile. Until her death, she never truly looked at me. I hated her, resented her, despised her, but in the end, when a person dies, it's like a lamp going out. Placing the flowers before the grave, I found a clean spot and sat down. What did you even like about him? No skills, no ability. Apart from being able to paint, he only had his good looks. He said you'd never even met before.